The Trump-Vance campaign made some very, very disappointing remarks over the weekend. Those remarks have already stirred up a lot of concerned conservatives and, frankly, have made many of them even more concerned than they have ever been. Precisely on a social media post on Friday, former President Trump stated, "My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights." And as if that were not enough, then on Sunday, Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, appeared on NBC's Meet the Press. In that interview, he stated that Trump disagrees with South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham when it comes to protecting babies after the 15th week of pregnancy. That's when they can feel pain.
Lindsey Graham himself has not advocated a federal abortion ban. Lindsey Graham has advocated a federal minimum standard. Now, to be clear, that is not Donald Trump's view. Donald Trump disagrees with Lindsey Graham on this.
Wow. I mean, really, wow. What are we to make of all of this? Well, joining me now to talk about all of this is the host of Washington Watch, the president of Family Research Council, Tony Perkins. He, by the way, is also the chairman of FRC Action. Tony, I know you got a lot of plates spinning out there. Thank you for taking time to join us by phone.
Well, thank you, Jody, for filling in for me. Yes, I'm actually out on the West Coast in California, and I hoped to join by video, but didn't work out. This is troubling. I mean, I was speaking at a church here in Southern California yesterday, just met with a pastor here in Southern California for lunch. This is an issue. It's a concern. I was actually talking this morning to a pastor in Texas who called me about this. This is fundamental. And my statement over the weekend about this is, God have mercy on us as a nation if the one party that has been advocating for the unborn child and for their mothers abandons its position of life. We're in serious trouble, and that apparently is where the Trump campaign, at least the consultants, are wanting to take the political party and, quite frankly, the country, because we're the only thing standing between abortion till birth at taxpayer funds. That's what the Democratic Party is pushing for, and it looks like the Republicans are running away from their historic position of protecting unborn children.
Yeah, you're so right, Tony, and it's not just the former president. I mean, J.D. Vance, I'm sure you heard the clip we aired just a moment ago, but he said that Trump would veto a federal abortion ban. He also said that Trump, as we just played, disagrees with Senator Graham on the 15 weeks where babies feel pain.
Well, it was interesting. Senator Graham called me yesterday during the altar call of the last service. I was preaching out here. He was calling from the East Coast, obviously, but we talked about this. That what is being discussed there is not a ban. What Lindsey Graham has put forward is a measure that is late-term abortions when a child feels pain. So we're not talking about a ban. Now, to be clear, and I've talked about this, you and I have talked about this, I support life from the moment of conception forward, but I know we have to build consensus. We've worked for 50 years to bring about a consensus point to support unborn life in this country. And now we're running away from the ground that we had gained. This is why I was so animated and concerned about the party platform and what took place in Wisconsin earlier this year, because I knew that without something tethering the Republican Party and Republican candidates to a strong position on life, we would end up with something like this. And because Donald Trump is seen as the leader of the Republican Party, others are falling in behind him. And I understand the choices that are between us, and I'm not advocating that people don't vote for him, but I am saying and I've taken a little bit of grief from people who have said you shouldn't say anything. Well, I'm sorry. As Christians, as evangelicals in this country, and in the position that I'm in, is we are to be a prophetic voice. We're to be a prophetic voice to the political leaders. We are not to fall in line when their positions are not in accord with biblical truth. Now, again, I'm not saying that we would ever vote for a party who advocates abortion until birth, but what I am saying is we have to hold both parties to the same standard. And when one party gets it wrong and the other party gets it wrong, we should be just as quick to call them out. And this is wrong. What we're seeing is a fundamental change of the Republican Party's decades-long position in protecting unborn children. And we cannot be silent about this, Jody.
Cannot agree with you anymore, Tony. And, you know, it's disturbing to me. This is not the same Donald Trump that we saw back in 2016. I mean, not all of us will remember how he just ripped to shreds, really, the argument from Hillary Clinton on abortion when he made it so clear that ripping a baby out of the womb in the 9th month is not okay with him. And it seems like all that's gone away at this point. So we just got a couple of minutes, Tony. What do you say to voters out there in light of what we're seeing and hearing right now?
Okay. So two things. Number one, let me just be very clear on this, Jody. I've been having conversations with the campaign and others every day about this. So I'm not saying one thing and not trying to bring about the right position. The reason I'm talking about this publicly is because the private conversations haven't brought about the fruit that it needs to bring. And that is coming back into alignment with supporting unborn children and their mothers. Now, what does this mean for voters? I mean, we have to speak truth. We have to vote, but we vote for the candidate that most clearly aligns with biblical truth. I would just like the contrast to be starker. That's what I'm speaking out about. I want to encourage Donald Trump to take a stronger position on life. I'd love to see the Democrats take a stronger position on life. But if we're silent, nobody's going to change. And so we have to pray, we have to vote, and we have to stand. And standing means we have to speak. We have to speak truth. Whether or not people receive it or agree with it, we are not an appendage of any political party. The church is a prophetic voice to this country, and we have to use the voice speaking the truth that God has entrusted to us.
Perfectly said. Tony Perkins, president of FRC, thank you so much for taking time again. Thanks for the incredible work you do.